Good evening and welcome to tonight's council meeting. As the mayor and the presiding officer, my role under the town charter and the rules of procedures and Robert Rules of Order is to ensure orderly processing of business and to maintain a decorum for all participants, council staff, and the public can be heard respectfully and fairly. To this end, please note the following requirements which apply equally to the public and all council members. All comments must be directed through the mayor, who is the chair. No comment should be directed to an individual member, any staff, or a member of the public. Side conversations, whispering, and cross-talk are not permitted. All remarks must be made audible to the room and part of the official record. We ask that your electronic devices be silenced. Texting, emailing, or message related to public business matters during the meeting may be subject to FOIA and should be avoided. Excuse me. No one may speak while another person has the floor. Interruptions will be ruled out of order. Council members will be recognized by the mayor before speaking. Council members may speak up to 2 times on any item with a combined total of no more than 10 minutes. Members of the public are allotted 3 minutes to speak during citizen comment or public hearings unless otherwise changed by majority vote prior to the meeting. During citizen comment time, council members will not respond directly to the speakers. Responses, clarification, or follow-up remarks may be offered later during a designated council time. These rules are designed to protect the rights of all participants, ensure compliance with the law, and to keep our meetings efficient, respectful, and productive. Thank you for your cooperation. Madam Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman Fields?
Here.
Councilman Pete?
Here.
Councilman Young?
Here.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Present.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Present.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Here.
Mayor Wood?
Present.
Thank you.
Next, we will ask that Prophet Martinez come to the podium and give us the prayer and invocation. Thank you, sir.
So, good evening. My English is a little bit, but I have my translation for to be more understanding, okay? Tengan todos buenas noches.
Good evening, everyone.
Gracias por estar acá.
Thank you for being here.
Desde que entré a este lugar,
The moment I entered this place,
me pude dar cuenta que esto está representando una asamblea.
I realized that this is representing an assembly,
Y ustedes son la asamblea de la tierra.
and you are the assembly of earth.
La Biblia dice que las autoridades han sido puestas por Dios.
And the Bible says that authorities have been placed by God.
Y es un honor estar acá.
And it is an honor to be
Y yo
here.
creo que Dios también está honrado de que ustedes estén acá
And I believe God is also honored for you to
para
be here,
tomar decisiones
to make decisions
de acuerdo a la voluntad de Dios
according to God's will,
para bendecir a un pueblo.
to bless a people.
La Biblia dice, bendito el pueblo cuyo Dios es Jehová.
The Bible says, blessed is the people whose God is the Lord.
Y yo creo que el haberme tomado en cuenta esta noche
And I believe keeping me in consideration tonight
trae la bendición de la asamblea del cielo,
brings the blessing of the assembly of heaven,
porque yo represento la asamblea del cielo.
because I represent the assembly of heaven.
Así que está la asamblea de la tierra
So you have the assembly of earth
y está el Rey Supremo, que es nuestro Dios.
and the supreme king, who's our God.
Y yo creo que eso va a traer una bendición,
And I believe that will bring a blessing.
va a traer prosperidad,
It will bring
va a
prosperity.
traer avance,
It will bring
va a
advancement.
traer
It
multiplicación,
will bring
va a
multiplication.
traer
It will
transformación
bring
y
transformation.
va a traer cambios sobre nuestras vidas.
And it'll bring changes over our lives.
Es un honor para mí estar acá
It's an honor for me to be
y
here.
vamos a poner esta reunión en las manos de Dios.
And we're going to place this meeting in God's hands.
Dios, te damos gracias en esta noche
God, we thank you tonight
por este lugar,
for this place,
por las personas de autoridad que has puesto en esta ciudad.
for the people of authority you have placed in this
Te
city.
damos gracias por el alcalde
We thank you for the mayor
y por todo su comité.
and his entire committee.
Padre, yo te pido en el nombre de Jesús
Father, I ask you in Jesus'
que
name
abras los cielos sobre esta nación,
to open the heavens over this
que abras
nation,
los cielos sobre esta ciudad,
to open the heavens over this
que
city,
traigas sabiduría,
to bring
que
wisdom,
traigas conocimiento revelado
bring revealed
para
knowledge,
poder guiar al pueblo
to be able to guide the
y
people
para poder llevarlo
and to take them,
no solo a que sean bendecidos
not just to be
y a que
blessed
sean prosperados,
and to be
sino a que
prospered,
sean ciudadanos
but to also be citizens,
ejemplares,
exemplary,
útiles,
useful,
que sean un ejemplo
to be an example,
para gobernar,
to govern,
para guiar
to guide
al pueblo.
the people.
En el nombre de Jesús te
In
lo pedimos.
Jesus' name we ask.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that prayer and that translation. Get you for my translation services. All right. Could you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please be seated. Next is the adoption of the agenda. I move the following changes to the agenda. We add a proclamation recognizing the month of June as LGBT Pride Month. Also want to add a comprehensive plan update to our presentation. Do you want it before the town manager report, after? Before. Okay, before that, all right. Okay, so no prior presentation. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, we'll take that. Excuse me. All right, so on the agenda, all right, we will add a comprehensive plan update after the small area plan update. We'll do a comprehensive plan update after that. Comp plan update. And we're going to continue the public hearings listed in our action items 10A to E to the next regular council meeting. And we will move item D of the consent agenda to an action item on the flock safety automated license plate reader policy for discussion before vote. All right. And I do that all as a motion to amend. Instead.
I second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion on any of that?
I have
Madam Vice Mayor?
the comp plan update. Is staff prepared to provide that? Is that something that was discussed prior to this evening?
Town manager?
Yes, ma'am. It was an item that should have been on the agenda, but when we updated the agenda, it actually left it out. But
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
just wanted to make sure that we was all ready for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other,
rest.
okay, any other discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Peak?
Yes.
Councilman Young?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
Okay. First is our Juneteenth proclamation honoring Juneteenth. Well, let's see what we got here. It says recognizing Juneteenth and honoring the Prince William County branch of the NAACP. Whereas on June 19th, 1865, enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, learned of their freedom, marking a defining moment in our nation's journey toward liberty and justice. And whereas Juneteenth reminds us that freedom is not merely a moment in history, but a responsibility carried forward by each generation. And whereas the progress achieved since that historic day has been made possible by individuals and organizations willing to advocate, lead, educate, and to serve in pursuit of equal opportunity and justice for all. And whereas for more than 90 years, the Prince William County branch of the NAACP has worked to strengthen communities through civic engagement, leadership, education, advocacy, and public service. And whereas the town of Dumfries recognizes the branch's enduring commitment to advancing the ideals of freedom, equity, and opportunity that Juneteenth represents. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Town Council of Dumfries do hereby proclaim June 19, 2026 as Juneteenth in the town of Dumfries, and we proudly recognize the Prince William County branch of the NAACP for its longstanding service and leadership throughout our community and region. As we commemorate Juneteenth, let us remember that freedom is not only something we celebrate, but something we strengthen through our service, our actions, and our commitment to one another. May this observation inspire us to continue building communities where opportunity is expanded, voices are heard, and every person is treated with dignity and respect. Signed, Mayor Derek R. Wood, by order of the Town Council.
Thank you all. I am truly honored to receive this award on behalf of Prince William County NAACP. As you all may know, my tenure has just started, so truly, I'm really accepting this award on behalf of the shoulders that I stand on, Reverend Cozy Bailey, Reverend Carl Bauer, all of those presidents, E.J. Scotts, and the leaders who have really been doing the work in this community. The NAACP, as a whole in the United States, has done a lot to break down a lot of the barriers that have harmed people that look like you and me, right? From segregation to Jim Crow and so on and so forth. And even though much of that work occurred in the past, there is still a lot of work to be done now. So we look forward to collaborating with all of you all and to make sure that Prince William County as a whole remains a county that is safe and welcoming to everyone. This is the most diverse county in Virginia, and we intend to make sure that it remains that way. Thank you.
You got to tell the people your name. You didn't say that for the
Oh, I
record.
didn't say that? Sorry. I'm new at this, y'all. Najma Smalls, president of Prince William County NAACP. So thank you all. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And the minutes, I wanted to just note a couple of just clerical changes for you on the minutes. The minutes were dated June 2nd to be approved, and we should change that to June 16th. And just the admin, pastor, we change the spelling of pastor, and that's it. Just so suggest we approve the minutes as corrected.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes with the adjustments.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any other comments, discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the discussion.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Peete?
Yes.
Councilman Young?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Abstain?
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
I abstain due to absence.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, next on the agenda, citizen comment time. Were there any citizens signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move right to our reports and presentations. Our first report is an update on the parking for Eris on Main.
Good evening, Mayor Wood, Vice Mayor Nickerson, Chair Pro Tem Miles, members of the Town Council, Town Manager Ennis, staff, and members of the public. Thank you for the opportunity to present. My name is Ayanna Thurston, and I serve as the interim assistant to the town manager. Tonight, I will be providing an update on our Eris on Main parking directive that was requested by council. To provide an overview of what I will be going through, the agenda is as follows. I'll provide a brief background and town council request overview, parking requirements versus site plan, staff action, and then the legal review and next steps. On April 7, 2026, Vista Residential Partners, the developer of Eris on Main, presented a project update. Within that project, there was a planned 54 single-family attached units, 6 fewer than the proffered 60, as well as a planned 7 visitor parking spaces in Land Bay 2. Following that meeting on April 21st, 2026, Town Council requested staff review of parking adequacy through Vice Mayor Nickerson. Here we will find an overview of the parking requirements versus the site plan. On May 2nd, 2023, the adopted proffer amendment was approved by council. In Land Bay 1, there was a minimum of 245 spaces proposed, as well as in Land Bay 2, a minimum of 130 spaces. That is a total proffer requirement of 375 spaces. However, the site plan provides an overview of 314 spaces in Land Bay 1 and 108 residential plus 7 visitor spaces in Land Bay 2, totaling 115 spaces. This provides a total proposed of 429. However, it's primary to note that within Land Bay 2, it is reduced from the minimum per the proffer amendment of 130. This was then taken into consideration by our planning director and the town attorney. The ordinance, of course, requires the 130 parking spaces in Land Bay 2. This reduction is below 130 spaces is not permitted without a proffer condition amendment. Any amendment must be reviewed by the Planning Commission and approved by Town Council. Staff notified the developer of the adopted proffer requirements. The developer acknowledged receipt and is preparing a response with their consultants. Staff will continue to provide council with a response and recommendations on next steps. So a brief overview of the staff action that has taken place thus far. The planning director met with the town attorney and made the determination of the requirement for a PCA in order for the reduction in the amount of spaces. Staff then met with the developer on May 12th to discuss this requirement and is awaiting a response from them. The developer acknowledged and shared that they would be working with their consultant and their attorney. Their consultant is Boiler to review and provide a report of next steps. Although a response timeline has not been communicated to staff, we will remain rigorous in follow-up and will keep the council informed as updates are provided. At this time, I'll take any questions.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Thurston, for your diligence and for providing this report to the council. I'm not quite sure if this question will be directed to you or if it's more appropriate to the zone administration, but I'm going to take a stab at it. So being that we don't have a timeline for when this might be rectified, does that mean that the plan needs to be modified to include the 130 and it can't proceed as presented?
That's
Just to
correct.
clarify. Okay. All right. So we're all good.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate staff following up and coming back to us with the information. I'm looking forward to reviewing the response from the developer. One of the questions that I still am interested in is the amount of parking that the bottom line number that we had was 375. What they're providing is 429. So they're giving more parking spaces than the proffer requested, but it's just broken down differently than the proffer instructed, and I get that. My question is, when it comes to the parking, I would like to know very specifically whether or not the parking spaces are assigned. And I ask that because if the parking spaces are assigned, then it restricts the amount of visitor parking. And again, my primary concern is there is no place else for folks to park other than that development because we do not have street parking on Main Street. If the parking spaces are assigned, whether or not there's room there for them to manage it in a way where it leaves more unassigned spaces, which would account for visitor spaces. So I would like that as a part of the conversation and clarification brought back to us, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I guess my question comes down, did we approve a non-compliant plan? Was a non-compliant, that's,
I will defer to the Director of Planning to answer that question.
So there is a pending site plan for the development, and there are several modifications that have to be made to the site plan, so the final site plan has not been yet approved.
Okay, let me see how I can phrase this. So when we were presented with the parking space and everything, and I know we saw 4, did we know that there was a land bay, I guess, 1 and 2? Like, I'm just trying to figure out like what we were presented and what we voted on with the parking and the structures. And so now we say that, you know, we approved 429 spaces, but and even though it's more, because it wasn't 130 of them in Land Bay 2, we were wrong. Like, so where did we as a council mess up somewhere?
So when the town council adopted the rezoning, that included the proffers for the development, and that was actually prior to my tenure with the town. There was a definition of Land Bay 1 and Land Bay 2, the number of units in each land bay, and the number of assigned parking spaces in each land bay. And when I'm not sure what was presented to council at that time, but I do know that the ordinance that was adopted defines the Land Bay 1, Land Bay 2, the number of units in Land Bay 1, the number of units in Land Bay 2, and the number of parking spaces in Land Bay 1 and Land Bay 2. And therefore, in order to amend...
I understand.
Okay.
Thank you. I understand.
Okay.
I understand the proffer. I'm trying to figure out where in this that we have not yet approved the final site plan. So what we were presented on parking was not, help me understand, what did we vote on prior?
The ordinance was what the town council has voted on regarding the project, and that was that included the proffers.
So the project that was presented to us was never approved? What we're going back to the developer to revise the plan, or we never got a plan?
To revise the plan,
So to revise the plan.
yes.
So, town manager, can you help me out? I'm just trying to figure out if we approved the plan or not.
So y'all have not approved the final site plan. That should come back before council. My understanding is that what was approved, but what the developer is doing is going back to adhere to what was approved. That's what the staff discussed with the developer. Am I correct? Okay. So the developer probably...
We approved the plan last time. I thought we had approved the plan, so I guess that.
So it seems
we
as
didn't.
if Ben had not done all of his due diligence when it came to the last presentation that he came before council.
So Eris on Main was never approved?
The final site plan.
Right.
That's what, I'm just so confused right now because I stood here last time and said it was approved, and then we're saying it's not approved, we're on the final stages. So I'm just trying to get clear on, did we vote on the site plan or did we not vote on the site plan?
So legally and per both the Virginia Code and the Town Code, site plans are approved administratively, and proffers, which the Town Council did approve, which established parking spaces, was adopted by council.
Okay. All right. She spoke. Did you want to speak? Because I will come back. Okay, Chair Pro Tem.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, and that's what I was actually going to ask about in terms of procedure, because I do remember for a while, prior to, I believe, 2021, council voted on site plans. I do remember when Mr. Caper was the Director of Community Development, it was brought to our attention by that department and also the attorney at the time that it wasn't best practice and it wasn't consistent with Virginia Code. So we never would have, it's not that it was here and we approved it. We never would have approved a site plan because it was past 2021 when it was determined that we would vote on the legislation and the use, if it was a CUP or something, like we would vote on that and then the site plan would be reviewed. So I just wanted to clarify that the process as it was. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
So in accordance with what Pro Tem is saying, we would not or should not have voted on the site plan from the dais. But what I also heard you say, Mr. Tabor, is that when the ordinance was approved, these proffers were laid out within that ordinance. Okay, and I do remember that the ordinance to change that CUP over there from mixed-use retail on the bottom to entirely residential was approved by this dais in a 4-2 vote, which I was not a part of because I didn't agree with it then nor now.
So my question about the parking is, can 15 additional spaces be added without compromising the landscaping that they promised, the sidewalks, any type of stormwater, fire access, open space, the design, or the pedestrian safety? Right, so I don't know if they're gonna rearrange it or if they're gonna add an additional 15 spots. You know, so those are the questions I got on the parking. Are the driveways and the garages being counted in the 108 residential spots? Where will delivery vehicles, contractors, and all those other service vehicles park? Are they going to be allowed to park in those neighborhoods like everything else? Town manager.
Mayor Wood, if you don't mind, if you can send us those questions, so we'll make sure as we're discussing with the developer, we get
Okay.
you responses.
No
Okay.
problem. Absolutely.
I just want to offer a point of clarification. I said 4-2, I meant 5-2 for the vote that passed the ordinance. For the record, thank you.
All right, seeing no more discussion on Arizona, Maine, we'll move to our next topic on the agenda, which is an update on the small area planning, and then an update on the comp plan after that.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council, this evening, I do believe remotely we have the town's consultant. There he is, great. David Samba with Kimley Horn, and he is with us this evening to provide an update on the small area plan and provide additional information.
All right, thank you, Reggie, and good evening.
We can't hear you, unfortunately, David.
Let's see. You all hear me now? No?
No. No.
Stay tuned as we work through these technical difficulties in 2026. We will be right with you.
You all hear me? You all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can.
great.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm getting some room feedback. But I can roll with it. I can roll with it. If it sounds good to you all. If it sounds good to you all.
The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, good evening. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I appreciate you all. This gives me the opportunity to quick update on the process. Tonight will be a quick update. We wanted to brief you on what we're currently up to, as well as what we're about to launch into. By way of update, or just a reminder, this small process is taking a look at critical areas of the town, Main Street Commons, Gateway, and the waterfront, and taking and planning and planning Dumfries a level further. As part of that process, we have been engaged in plan review, understanding the existing conditions areas. We've also been conducting a market study alongside our sub-consultant partner. And we have been conducting some 2-on-2 conversations with council to understand different perspectives about each small area plan. Tonight, the main reason of our update is we wanted to let you all know that to continue the conversations and understanding of these small areas, we are ready to engage with the community. So we're launching our community website as well as a community questionnaire. Purposefully saying questionnaire there because we want to make sure that folks understand that this is the opportunity to provide feedback and directly response to some questions that we have curiosities about, but also not to mislead anyone that this is not a statistically valid survey. It is a questionnaire, and we are approaching this from the perspective of trying to get as much engagement as possible, but not a statistically mandated threshold of participation. So I did want to just provide a quick view of the website, which is going to be launched very shortly this week. So I'll go ahead and just share my screen so you all can see. So this is our website, and you are looking at it through the edit view. This is like on my side, so it'll look just slightly different when it goes to the community. But generally, what we're trying to do is provide some information about the project. So there's a couple of FAQ style questions that roll down, and the community can take a look at those and see the responses. So they have quick access to scroll that down. So they have quick access to basic project information. We also will always maintain a quick poll, kind of just where we are in the project, something that we might want to get a quick sense of from the community. So in this case, the very first quick poll is about dining options. We also will maintain on the website big ideas. So as the community has ideas, and this actually, as more ideas come online, it kind of flows down like sticky notes. So folks will be able to see each other's ideas and kind of thumbs up or thumbs down. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we'll have the community questionnaire, which will live on the website. For the purpose of tonight, I've kind of simplified it just so I can scroll through it a little bit. But we'll have a little introduction that just says, again, what this planning process is about. And then a couple opening questions, and members of council you might recognize, if not the first question, you'll recognize the second question. What is one experience or activity that you can't do in Dumfries today that you'd love to do here in the future? Then we'll go on to questions about each small area, Main Street Commons. And again, this is where I've truncated it just for the purpose of tonight. So about 5 questions about the Main Street Commons, things that we're trying to understand folks' perspectives and sentiments on. And then we'll have similar questions for both the waterfront and the gateway. Again, just truncated it. And then basic demographic questions. So we can make sure that we have done our best to hear from the diverse Dumfries community. Again, keeping it as anonymous as possible, but still trying our best to understand who we heard from and maybe who we didn't. So again, that is going to be live this week. We just wanted to brief it with council, let you all know that was coming. We also wanted to extend the information that we're going to be using the town's social media to get the information out, that the questionnaire is out there, and that we are looking for feedback. So through social posts, through in-person kind of paper posts in the community center, in the library, QR codes, things like that, so folks can definitely see the message. Though this is for the, specifically tonight, I'm sure most folks watching are Dumfries residents. This is an open survey. We want to also hear from people that visit Dumfries, so we'll try to put it in places and through communication channels that attract more than just residents. So we're hearing from many people as we can. So again, I said it was going to be a short update tonight. That is the update. So again, just want to let you all know that this information is coming out. We'll continue to work throughout the summer to build the plan elements through the technical elements, even as we collect the community sentiments. I guess I should mention, we're thinking this questionnaire is going to be open for at least 30 days, but more than likely it's going to be 45 to 60 days. It will kind of monitor the pace of responses. And once that starts to slow down, we like to boost it one more time. And then after that, we tend to shut it down so we can actually process and use that data to build the rest of the plan. So with that, I can entertain any questions from council or wrap up.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you for the update. Certainly appreciate it. Looking forward to speaking with you more. So about the demographic portion, and Destination Dumfries is something that we've all championed. We definitely want people to come to Dumfries and patronize Dumfries. However, I do want to ensure that we're hearing from our residents. I want to make sure that we can target what our residents are saying and what our residents would like to service. So is there any way, I know you couldn't have it open on the website, but when they log in, is there a way to input their information so that we can segregate, okay, this is what I'm hearing from the average Dumfries resident. This is what I'm hearing from someone who's outside of the town. And what I would suggest, if you don't have it, and if you plan on putting it in, a lot of people think they live in Dumfries because of the way the zip code is, but they don't actually live in the town of Dumfries. So there's a way that the website can flag, not make it public knowledge, that can flag, okay, this is a Dumfries, town of Dumfries resident, because we need to make sure we're hearing and we're meeting the needs of our citizens, and that doesn't fall second to a larger population. So with that, I yield, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
Ma'am, you stole my entire thunder. That is what I was going to say. I actually had the same thoughts. It's important to us that we differentiate from our surrounding communities and our actual tax-based residents. And what I would offer as a suggestion is that you include in the demographics, do you live within the town of Dumfries and what neighborhood? that will help folks understand whether or not they live in the town of Dumfries, because when they mention their neighborhood, that will help us to clearly differentiate between whether or not they're our actual residents. So that is the suggestion that I offer on top of, as a piggyback to Pro Tem Miles.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My only take is that as I listen to how you're going to get this out to our citizens, that you at some point in time get with our town staff to get this out to all of our residents, because putting them in, as I listen to the spots that you mentioned, I hear spots that are missing, you know, and if you could get with our town manager and the rest of the staff and see if you can get all the addresses within the town of Dumfries and get this out to, I guess, in a mailer or something like that. I did hear you mention walking around, putting them in stores and things like that. I like it, but I'm also concerned, piggybacking off of Pro Temp and the Vice Mayor's remarks, that we definitely get this out to the town of resident citizens to hear what they're saying. And my take on that is to get the mailers out, or if you guys are going to be canvassing to stores and of such, to put them into the homes and not the businesses, because again, putting them into the businesses, we're now mixing with all residents at that time. All right, thank you much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, questions I have on this, will there be multiple languages on the website? I think 40% of our community is Spanish-speaking community, and so will we have some ability for our Spanish-speaking community to be able to engage and give their feedback as well?
Yes. So the benefit of the social website is we are able to convert into multiple languages with Spanish.
Okay. And then are you going to do any paid outreach? Like, are you going to, I heard you talk about social media and all of that to Councilman Pete. Are you going to do mailers, or are you going to pay for ads on like the YouTubes and the social medias and stuff that targets specific zip codes and numbers or whatever like that?
At this point, that wasn't part of our civic engagement plan. We can review it with whether or not that's for this effort.
All right, and then what is the next step after the website launches? So what is the next thing that we should expect, or the next deliverables?
So we, alongside or in parallel to the community track, continuing our conversations, we're wrapping those up. We have two more conversations this week. We're also anticipating conversation with the Plan Commission and the Economic Authority. That'll kind of give us a place where we have perspectives on decision makers, implementers, kind of key leaders in the town. We're then going to synthesize that and then bring to you all our assessment of where you are and the different perspectives, and then how we need to reconcile those. We'll pair that alongside our market to say what does the market say these areas may want to in the future. And then at that point, we're going to reconfirm the vision of each small area plan. And at that point, once we all feel comfortable with the vision, with the placement of the market assessment versus your needs, your perspectives, we'll start to build the technical elements, as I mentioned. So that is looking at specifically, okay, well, if this is our vision and this is the needs or perspectives as expressed by council, plan commission, EDA, the reconciled vision and needs, what are the specific elements within our transportation, within our housing, within our retail core that we need to have to start to have success in implementing these small area plans. That's going to be kind of the summer work. And again, just giving you a sense of the timeline. These plans, we're wrapping them up in December. So summer work is more the technical stuff. We kind of, as we crest out of summer and into the fall, we start to build the implementation planning elements. So you can expect that we'll come back to you a little bit more with like a sense of what we are finding, what our recommendations are, and then we'll spend the fall talking about the strategy specifically to achieve those recommendations.
Councilman Pete, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I'm listening, is there a way for you to provide what percentage and how many town of residents town of Dumfries residents that you're gathering this information from? Because as I'm looking, I see a small percentage and then maybe what we think of how we may want that small group to go. So if we can get those numbers out as well while we are gathering this information to make sure that we're covering at a large percentage and not just a piece of the pie.
I think within the questionnaire, for example, and I think I'm still sharing the screen, we'll have a question about the affiliation. Actually, and I want to appreciate the comments that council gave about making sure that we're hearing from people that are in incorporated Dumfries or town of Dumfries as opposed to thinking they're in Dumfries. For example, I live in Herndon, but not in the incorporated Herndon. So that those questionnaires often confuse people if you don't know. So I think we'll work to validate it with zip code information, with neighborhood information, and certainly the output of the questionnaire, we can assess who we heard from, which neighborhood, were they Dumfries residents? Even if they said they were Dumfries residents, can we validate that they were Dumfries residents? Short of asking for their specific address, which we tend not to do because that scares people away, because we want to keep that anonymity. Short of asking that, I think that's what we can do from the perspective of hearing from our residents. As an output of the public engagement process, Councilman Pete, yes, we certainly can give you a little, like a chart or a pie graph that says of all the people we heard from, who were residents, who were employers, who are people that are visiting. And then certainly we can put that in a context of, well, what is the entire town, of the 6,000 people, who did we hear from? Again, because this is not a statistically valid survey, we don't have a threshold target. Of course, more engagement is better. It improves the process, and we will work to gain more engagement. But we're also sensitive to that fatigue I talked about in our first meeting, and trying to not necessarily pull people towards youth engagement, but meet them where they are and as they're willing to participate in the process.
Last two here. You mentioned summer engagement and fall engagement. And then also you mentioned that the everyday canvassing wasn't going to be a part of what you guys were going to do. But so my take with that is, can you make it part of your one of your duties? And then also, or will you guys be incorporating this with our events that we'll be having here as well?
So more the latter. I think we like to look for the opportunity. Again, this is the meeting people where they are. So if we can piggyback on a community event that's already happening, we can have a little table there and have our QR code or flyer, grab someone's attention and let them know that this is happening. That's a little bit better than, for example, we've been doing some canvassing in other locations. You get some folks, a lot of people walk by you because that's not when they're wanting to engage. So you got to catch folks in the right mood. And we think that the pop-ups or kind of the catching them at the existing events tends to work a little bit better.
You guys are ready or not, but we do have a Juneteenth event going on this Friday.
We did hear that. So we are trying to identify if there's something we can do in combination with that. Since we are launching this week, I think that'd be a nice synergy. It's a little close, but we're seeing what we can do.
All right, thank you much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. It would be great to have a tent and a barcode for people to scan and get everybody coming in at the Dumfries tent. So great recommendation, Councilman P. Thank you for your presentation. We're going to move on to the next item on our agenda. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing the work that you do. Our next on our agenda is an update on the comp plan implementation tracker. Mr. Tamer.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council. So I have just two slides actually to share with you this evening. First is a slide that looks at quarter three, the last quarter that we provided information on, and this illustrates the status of our comprehensive plan items. Those items not started, those items that have been initiated or started, and those that are in progress, and those that are ongoing, and then those that have been completed. And there are 354 action items in the plan. And so we'll go to the next. And this shows that we still have about the same percentage of those items not started. And a lot of those items actually require some time. For example, the completion of the small area plans, and those items can't be started until after that, or they're related to the widening of Route 1 and won't be, or the town assuming control of the park, for example, on the former landfill after 10 years. So those items we know that we can't start until a later period of time. But then we do have, a significantly, we have fewer items that have been initiated because many of them have moved over to in progress, and they are well in progress at this point. And we have ongoing action items, and those represent almost a quarter of the items, and those are ongoing throughout time and don't necessarily have a completion or end date. As we go through, we will of course update these and provide you with quarterly updates. There are two companion pieces. One is a spreadsheet that we will provide a link to, and that has each of the items and a description of the item and the status of the item. And then we have a dashboard. And can we bring up the dashboard, please? And so this is the dashboard, and it illustrates, again, the items from quarter 3 and quarter 4. In the left-hand column, we have all of the action items, and then in the right-hand column, we have the corresponding next steps for each of the action items. And I'd like to say thank you very much to our town planner, Ms. Abigail Cheritich, who manages and administers our dashboard. We're happy to respond to any questions.
Can you go back to the first slide again, please? I'm trying to look at the differences in the first slide and the second slide.
Okay. I'm sorry, that's the presentation.
I said that. Yeah, I just wanted to see the differences in the percentages, because the first slide, it was, my numbers I add quick, but not that fast.
Yes. So we had approximately 4% in progress and 68% initiated. And the primary change is between the initiated and the in progress action items. And then actually 20% of the items moved from initiated to in progress.
Okay.
From Q3 to Q4.
Hold on, let me see. It's 20, that's 260 plus 84. That's 244, if my math is correct. 10 is all. Okay, go ahead. Let's see. All right, go to on the number of items.
I'm sorry?
Or the percentage. I was just looking at the measurables. 320. Yeah, 44. It's okay. We'll go to the next one. It doesn't add up.
In the next slide. Great. And so we see it went from 68 to 48, which is 20, and that essentially moved over to the in progress. And that moved from 4% to 24%.
I'm leaving it alone. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the town manager's report.
Okay. Mayor, members of council, I will try to be brief. Briefly, Finance they completed the FY27 budget and the capital improvement plans, which were adopted by council. Bond proceeds were received for various capital projects, and that are currently on the way. The town did submit 2 applications for GFOA Financial Reporting Awards. We're still waiting to know what those results are. IT has advanced the new website modernization, and they are looking at adopting what planning had did, as well as updating various dashboards for different projects that we have. I'm very excited to talk about that. Facility technology upgrades have been, are on the way, and some have been completed. They've initiated cybersecurity, and planning has improved for council meeting technology in spite of when we have remote participation. In human resources, I'm proud to recognize that our town clerk, Nakisha Lucas, as well as our deputy town clerk, Cheryl Santos, both had received their Master Municipal Clerk designation, which is the highest, which is the highest professional certification available within the municipal clerk profession. This achievement reflects their exceptional dedication to continuing education, professional excellence, and advancing the municipal government. The accomplishment brings great pride to the organization and further strengthens the town's commitment to provide exemplary service to our residents, elected officials, and community stakeholders. In addition, key positions were filled this month. Mr. Joseph Rayfield Vaughn was promoted to Deputy Town Manager effective June 1st. Ms. Tiffany Johnson was promoted to Public Information Officer, which was a position we actually separated from the Assistant to the Town Manager, effective July 1st. And Mr. Brian Peckins was selected as the Public Works Director, who will start effective July 6th. We also have an employee, Mr. Lamont Caesar, who was selected as a new maintenance worker too within the Public Works Department, and his effective date will be July 6th as well. Moving on to public information and communications, we've increased community outreach through press releases, social media outreach, and growth in the DCC platform. Public Works processed various permits efficiently, conducted inspections, and responded to resident service requests through GoGov. Recreation and civic engagement hosts several successful events, launch our new youth initiatives, and continue planning for the up-and-coming town programs and special events. Juneteenth festivities will take place this Friday, June 19th, from 3 to 9 at Garrison Park, and our headliner, as we've discussed before, will be Carl Thomas. The town Independence Day activities in celebration of America's 250th, will be from 8:30 to 10 p.m. on July 11th at Garrison Park. And you have in your briefing an update in regards to the landfill. Many of you have asked what is going on with the landfill and why Dumfries residents are being charged for the Prince William County landfill. So we've confirmed that the landfill fees are paid by Dumfries residents, and as a result of that, Prince William County's longstanding funding structure are applied consistently across all incorporated municipalities. The report demonstrates continued progress towards town council priorities and sound financial management. Key takeaway is Dumfries residents are not the only ones that have to pay it. All town residents have to pay it. Prince William County residents have to pay. They are being charged $84 in their current bill, which is why we think we are being charged something separately. There is no special agreement or MOU with the various towns in Prince William County. And I stand ready to answer any questions or my staff. Yes, sir.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam Town Manager, I wanted to talk to you about the 4th of July fireworks display. I know that we did not have our sponsor. What's the plan to, how are we planning on celebrating 4th of July? Are we still on with that? Do we find a new sponsor?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm done.
Okay, so we have not found a new sponsor. Actually, I will pull the funds for the fireworks out of our contingency fund for this year.
Okay, and what cost is that?
Approximately $20,000, ma'am.
Okay, are we looking at finding new sponsors for next year, or we want to, I guess that's a conversation we need to have next budget cycle in terms of how we're going to proceed with fireworks?
So yes, we will continue looking for sponsors for various events. What we anticipate doing for next fiscal year, since we've lost our sponsor, is basically planning for it in the budget process.
Okay, and is that something that we need to vote on or discuss, or is that something that you can do administratively?
Oh, in regards to the budget, that will be voted on by council.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the 20K out of contingency.
That is something I can do administratively.
Okay, yeah, because normally I would have issues with the price. However, being that Destination Dumfries is our theme, and also people from all over look forward to the fireworks, and this is America's 250th birthday. I think we would be remiss if we didn't do that, but we definitely need to look at a plan, develop a contingency plan for next year.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Fields.
Yes, Town Manager, thank you for the report. And I'm laughing because I have been that one to argue at the landfill while we have to pay. And it's comforting to know that other towns have to pay too. So is it going to remain that way, or is it something that we can work out with the county to change that?
I believe it's going to remain that way because it's applicable to all towns.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Councilman Pete.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, I would like to make a motion that with this, and mentioning our farmers market, that we include flea to our farmers market, that we change it to our farmer and flea market.
You say farmer and what?
Farmer and flea market, because we're getting a lot of vendors that want to sell more than just food at our farmers market, but they can't because we don't allow for purses and motorcycle jackets and boots and things like that. It's outside of just the produce of food, that we include that as well.
I guess I'll second it for discussion because I got like questions. All right. So our farmers market, are we turning people away who want to vend? Can I get some history on this?
So what we did when we closed the farmers market, we got away from the true intent. The intent was to be able to provide produce or goods from various vendors directly from them, fresh goods. That's what I understand the intent of the farmers market was. So when we closed to revamp it, our goal was to bring back those type of vendors and do less of the other products. If I'm saying that incorrectly, Tiffany could elaborate a little bit more.
And Councilman Pete, what are you asking for in this motion?
To include that into the title of it, so it's marketed as a brand, as we're branding, not just farmers market, that we're marketing the farmer and flea market. That's all we're just doing, is changing the title to market and branded, which will help us bring in those vendors that want to that want to be a participant outside of just farmers market products.
Would you be open to just having the staff come back next meeting and just bring us and present us with options and just show us pros and cons of both?
Sounds
We just
good.
do it. Yeah, we
Sounds
just-
good.
all right.
Council's with that. I am definitely with that because I definitely want to not just isolate it to one specific thing, but to get the biggest bang. That parking and racks events, that's me. I want to see if we can get the biggest bang out of it that we can. Not saying this New York, but something in the sense like that, to where I can go not just only gather my my smoothie, my meat product, or my meats and my produce, but I can also grab mom a purse on Mom's Day, or dad a motorcycle jacket on Father's Day.
All right, so I'll withdraw my second. You withdraw your motion, and we'll just have them bring it.
Okay, I withdraw the motion.
And we'll just have you bring back us something to look at the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
All right, Vice Mayor.
When the farmers market was initiated, it was to help fill a gap by the fact that we are in a food desert here in Dumfries. And I understand Councilman Pete's concern. I think it's important because when I come to the farmers market, there are a few great vendors there. I like the mayor's suggestion that you all provide us with some due diligence on that to look into it, because what I'm thinking about is what the purpose is of a farmer's market. I haven't heard the request for a flea market, but I do think it's important that we make sure that we don't lose sight of what the purpose was of the market, which was to fill that gap for not having fresh produce and fresh produce and what have you available to our residents.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to start where your report ended on the landfill.
Yes, sir.
And kind of make some recommendations on that, and maybe bring something in the future that we could be in a position that most other towns aren't in with the landfill. Let's look at possibly looking at some town-funded vouchers right? So some incentives that we can do for our residents, some town-funded vouchers. Maybe we can negotiate in our trash, negotiated bulk pickup or bulk access, right? We can also look at maybe some limited annual passes for people who have to drive to the landfill. And, you know, we can explore, I don't know, even a ballot initiative if our citizens want to add it to their bill, if they see value in us paying and buying into, if that $84 a year is an option for our town. So I would like to look at those 4 options for it to see if we want to kind of either opt in, look at town-funded vouchers, because I don't think a whole bunch of us are going to making those drives to the landfill.
Okay.
But if we can do something like that for our citizens, I think that would release that burden. So if you can bring something back to us on some of those options for the landfill, I think it will give, that subsidy will give our residents equivalent access that the county residents come, and we don't have to increase their bill or nothing like that, and we can kind of create some type of slush fund there with that. I want to go back and say the new website looks great. I just want to say congratulations, hands to the IT team and everybody for the website update. Another congratulations and kudos again goes out to our master clerks with an S, master clerks. We got 2 in Dumfries, you know, so hands up to both our master clerks, because we know that takes time. That took years of dedication and service, hours of study and training, and you had to raise your family and your kids, so kudos, and do your job. So we thank y'all for actually doing the work and getting those master clerk certifications. So I definitely wanted to highlight that in it. I want to ask about, because you mentioned some of the staff positions, congratulations, and I guess soon we'll meet the new Public Works Director.
Yes, sir.
But can you tell us some of the other vacancies that we have? I feel like this is probably one of the, as you guys post this, the biggest questions, I don't know, that come to me is about the jobs and all of that. So I'm going to just ask you for the record, what are the vacancies that we have? And then I'll ask the other questions in regards to staff after you share what's left.
If you give me a moment, I'll go to the town's website to be accurate on the vacancies, so.
Okay, and then while you look, I'll just ask the other questions there. Do we have a target date to fill those positions? And are there any operational risk with us having those vacancies?
Okay,
You know.
so in regards to the vacancies, right now, we have Finance Director, Planner/Zoning Administrator, Director of Recreation and Civic Engagement, and Assistant to the Town Manager. We have several part-time positions in Recreation and Civic Engagement. As it relates to operational risk, there will not be any. The gaps have been filled with various staff here, as well as myself. What was the other question you had, sir? When I anticipate filling it?
Is anybody performing those roles in the intern was the last
So
one?
yes, in regards to interim, we have an interim finance director currently in place. The planner/zoning administrative position has been several months ago was filled by the current director of planning. So he's performing those duties. As relates to Director of Recreation and Civic Engagement, we have an interim person in place right now performing those duties. Assistant to the Town Manager, I just saw a presentation from Ms. Ayana, she's doing that as well. So we do not have any gaps that the work is not being performed under.
Thank you for sharing that with us. On the demolition of the rescue squad and the Campbell property, is there any updates you want to share with the public?
If you don't mind, I'm going to ask Mr. Vines to give y'all an update on that, because it's kind of exciting, so I want to steal his time.
I didn't hear you mention that, so I wanted to. I think that is an exciting announcement to make.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, Town Council, good evening, everyone. In relation to the waterfront property, we have 3 buildings that are being demoed there. One is currently already down. They're working on the additional 2. Quick update, timeline should be by July 15th that the waterfront property should be, all 3 buildings should be down. In relation to Clyde, Washington, we're working through utility cutoffs. That's taken a little bit longer than we'd like. Asbestos abatement is going on as well. Those are happening in parallel. Once we get all of the utility notices, cutoffs, letters, then we can actually apply for the demo permit. Once we do that, then it'll take about 6 to 8 weeks for the buildings to come down. So we're looking at starting that process probably around July 15th as far as like the actual building coming down. 6 to 8 weeks from July 15th, you should see a different change on Grand Park Road. And so we're tracking it. Things can happen. We've already run into some utility issues, but those are the 2 quick updates in a snapshot.
So, okay, we got utility disconnection status. What about environmental protections over there? I know there was a gas over there, possibly.
So the demo team's taking care of that.
The
yes,
demo
sir.
team's
so it's
taking
an
care of it,
above-ground tank,
right.
so they're able to mitigate that pretty easily. The asbestos was the other part, and we're waiting on the hygienist report, which should be done by Friday, and then there are a few other final reports that take about 3 to 6 weeks to get back on the asbestos.
And then the community notification, how's the community going to be notified when, I guess, it actually starts happening?
Once we are about to start the process, our plan is to pause before they actually get into actual building deconstruction, send out notice to all the neighbors, just let them know that it's going to be noise, possibly dust, and some other things. And so we've also done that with the waterfront property. With part of the activity at the waterfront, we had to identify where some of the water lines were, and those water lines were actually connected to 3 of the residents and one of the concrete plant. And so we had to let them know that we have to cut their water for like 2 hours. They've been notified. I actually went to each house and the business today, put a letter on the door, spoke to a resident just from a customer service perspective, let them know what was going on. So anytime that we are engaged in this kind of activity, we will definitely make sure that we way ahead of time, and as we get right to the event, let our citizens know what's happening and what's going on.
It's great. And last question, probably the most exciting one for the people to hear is, what happens immediately after demolition is done over there? That's like demolition is done now. What do they just sit around and look at the blank land? Like, what do they? They're excited that everything's demolished. What's happening next? What's the next steps?
Next steps, we are in the process of preparing the RFP to begin the design and construction of the community center. I have to come back to council to discuss some other things, but yes, that is the next step, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it done lit up over here. I don't know who was next. So, okay, was it Chair Pro Tem?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Mr. Vines, thank you for that exciting update. And I wish I could focus on that, but I actually had another question. And I hate to damper it, but I have a landfill question.
Yes.
The $84 that Prince William County taxes citizen, is that strictly for use at a landfill, or does that cover the waste management? And because they handle garbage pickup in Prince William County too, is it 84 just for the landfill use, or is that the total that they bill citizens for waste management purposes?
From talking to the Public Works Director, my understanding is that the bulk of it is used for landfill operations. So there's multiple operations that happen at the landfill. Composting, can't remember everything to the top of my head, but they do a lot as far as the different operations that they have in the landfill. So the bulk of that charge is basically landfill operations and running the landfill.
You wouldn't by chance in your conversation, did y'all go over how much the fee Prince William County charges residents for garbage pickup? I think they have 2 days a week.
We did not talk about that, no ma'am.
Because I was wondering if that $84 was inclusive of use of the landfill and also garbage pickup, because what I was going to do is actually piggyback off of the mayor's idea, because if they're paying $84 a year per resident, and that handles access to landfill and their other waste management fees, while we are in negotiation with garbage collection here in the town, it might be well worth it for us to budget it and handle waste management through Prince William County if that's an avenue. So is that something y'all can look into and get back to us?
Yes, ma'am, we most definitely can look into that. We just had negotiations today, so we have not closed that door yet. So yes, ma'am, we can look into that. Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Piggybacking off what Pro Temp was saying, I was going to ask if we can get that update on that second day for the trash removal as well.
Sir, we are actively in negotiations, and that is one of the topics that we have negotiated with the two firms that we're negotiating with.
Okay, sounds good. Now, speaking of vacancies, I remember there was a point in time where we were missing a EDA appointee on the board. Are we still open? Is that still vacant? Do we still have that one vacant?
I believe the EDA board is assigned 7 seats, and I believe currently we have 6 people on the EDA.
Okay, so can we, if council, can I make a motion to, well, I would like to make a motion that we open that up so we can get that 7th seat filled up for the director town manager to open the application process so we can get that 7th seat filled up. So it's still open? Okay, can we get an update on that process? I would like to withdraw that motion. Can we get an update on that process then to see where we at to fill it? 'Cause I know we were supposed to up to 7 and we had some other ones that were lingering around. Can we look into that?
I'll have
and
an
get
update for
on
you
that?
at the next council meeting. We will continue to advertise for the various boards and commissions to make sure that we get as many candidates as possible, but we'll have an update at the next council meeting.
Okay, and then my last one, this right here is from Mr. Vines. If you may come to the podium, please, sir. Mr. Vine, you said something that shook my body. You said that when the demolition come, it would take 6 to 8 weeks. My question would be, I just watched the dentist's office come down in 2 days, so I'm gonna turn back to you, and it's on the same road, so I'm gonna come back to you and say, why 6 to 8 weeks? I
can
okay.
double check with the vendor, but that was the recommendation that they let us know. So I think it probably has to make sure that, building of that size with close residential, there's a lot more precautions that they take to make sure that it comes down a certain way. But I can definitely follow up.
Okay, so I was like, wait a minute, do we got the right demolition crew or not? Because now we're entering a little bit of the construction where I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
But I did watch on the adjacent side of on the adjacent side of the street, yeah, that's correct, that there was the dentist office went down in 2 days, cleaned up and everything. So when I heard 6 to 8 weeks on a demo, and my prior practice of demolitions, I want to know how long and why long. But if we can look into that.
Okay.
Thank you. Town manager? Mr. Mayor.
Town manager.
So various localities have to follow different processes in private organizations. Also, people use different mechanisms for demolition. Sometimes you can get it down a lot faster. It's just a different variables, but we'll get you an update on it, okay?
Thank you very much, Town Manager. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
Okay. Councilman Young?
Mr. Mayor, thank you, sir. Mr. Vines, real quick, do they anticipate any type of traffic disruption because that building being so close to the road and during demolition, do they anticipate any type of traffic disruption in that road?
They have not indicated so at this point. There has been no conversation about any type of road blocking or anything of that nature, and even signage. They plan on having a protective fence around the perimeter, and so don't anticipate any road issues at this time, but if there are, we'll definitely make sure that we let you know.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Traffic, the traffic pattern. Can staff provide an update on whether VDOT is continuing to monitor the new traffic pattern? And if so, what metrics are they using to measure the success of the new traffic pattern? Because we continue to receive substantial resident feedback that traffic has actually worsened with the new traffic pattern. So I'm interested in what it is that they are measuring and whether or not it's equaling success based on what they're measuring. I also wanted to acknowledge the success of our recent expungement clinic. As the numbers show here, there were 40 people who registered because the clinic requires pre-registration, and there were 10 records that moved forward in the process. And for those individuals, that means greater access to employment opportunities, housing, education, and the ability to move forward without past barriers holding them back, and that is an awesome success. And I want to thank the staff, the magic behind the curtain, for the work that they put in to get it advertised so that we had such a great turnout with regard to pre-registration, and also the community partners who assisted to make it work, because we couldn't do it without them. And that is the Clerk of Court's office, that is our Dumfries Police Department, that is also the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and then we had a few attorneys to volunteer their time. And together, we've changed the lives of 10 people. And if we had only changed the life of one person, that in itself is significant. But 10 is a great accomplishment. And so thank you, everybody, for buying into that and supporting it. And I look forward to the 6th clinic next year. Thank you, I yield.
Councilman Fields.
I just want to go back to the landfill discussion and how I listened to Chair Pro Tem. I would advise not to try to piggyback on the counties. Let's keep what we got. We've had our own trash pickup for many, 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 many years. We can only ask them to do as they're doing, if not better. It's only $5 when you go to the landfill for anything, if you're not a county resident. I go there quite often. I pay the $5. It's not a big deal. I think that's less expensive than the town getting into paying the county all these other fees to join in with them. So I would say let's keep it the way we got it. Do the vouchers like the mayor said. And how often does a resident go? You know, if they go a lot, they may need to do something else. But I think the $5 is a very small inconvenience, considering that we have our own contract that we can ask what to do, and we might not, you know, grass might not be greener on the other side to chime in with the county on that.
Thank you. Town Manager, you have something to say?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
If you want to speak to the, go on a high note, the combined RFP and IFB savings that exceed over $107,000, you can share that news.
Ms. Thurston, she could come give an update on the solicitations that she's been doing.
Yeah.
So,
Share how you saved the citizens $107,000.
Good afternoon. So of course, when we go through the competitive solicitations, we also go through the negotiation process. Of course, we go in with a budget, but in mind, we want to save our taxpayers as many dollars as possible. Through the request for proposals, we've saved a little bit over $55,000, and through our invitation for bids, which also includes our demolition projects, we've saved a little bit over $52,000. So.
55, 52, that equals $107,000. Thank you. I'd like to put them together. All right, we moving on to our next item on the agenda, which is the approval of our consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Councilman Young,
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right. Next on the agenda is the presentation on this flock safety policy.
we got to ask the chief to come on up, sir.
Okay. Flock safety automated license plate reader policy.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and Town Council. I don't know if you guys have had time to read the policy. If you have specific questions, or if you would like me to just go over the policy with you, I can do either or, whichever you would like.
You want to just give us a highlight, just educate the public on why we're creating a policy for license plate readers and, why it's here. It's kind of like a our first read of it. as
Yes,
we approve
so with the, we are intending on doing a future presentation where Flock comes and joins us with, to educate the citizens as well as the council for the, what they produce for us is how their system works. With that, we can talk about the policy as well and the locations that were picked in the town and why they were picked. But this is just for the policy. It's basically the purpose of the policy is establish guidelines for the use, operation, access, retention, sharing, and auditing of license plate reader technology utilized by the town of Dumfries Police Department. If you guys have any questions on the definitions, I can answer them, but I don't want to sit here and tell you what everything means throughout the policy. And I just do want to articulate that basically what happens is once the camera gets an alert from a vehicle that's entered into NCIC VEASAN as a stolen, a wanted person, maybe a missing or endangered person, it will set out an alert to the police officers that's working into their cell phones and then tell them where it was located, the vehicle description, the tag number. And at that point, doesn't mean we can pull the vehicle over. We have to verify that information before we do. That doesn't give us probable cause for that. We have to find that is the same vehicle, same tag to be pulled over. So that's the main thing of that. Just because Flock says, hey, or the LPR says, hey, this is a hit for this vehicle, we still have to do our due diligence on the police side to make sure that's the right vehicle that we're pulling over. So the authorized uses for LPR technology is for criminal investigations involving alleged violations of the Code of Virginia, as well as for the town of Dumfries for ordinances. An reasonable articulable suspicion exists that a crime has occurred. Active investigations involving missing or endangered persons, human trafficking investigations, recovery of stolen vehicles or stolen license plates, identification of vehicles associated with wanted persons, and receipt of alerts related to wanted persons, missing persons, stolen vehicles, stolen license plates, and any other crimes that it could be entered in CIC VEASAN for. We don't monitor individuals engaged solely in constitutional protected activities such as personal, political, or non-law enforcement purposes. So it's strictly for law enforcement. We can't use it for anything personal. We can't use it for anything when it comes to political violence or anything like that. So every person that's operating that has to go through a training. Flock will put on the training to all the officers that are used for it. The captain will be the overlooker of the whole Flock system, so he's going to be in charge of all the audits and see what's going on with that. Most states, yeah, congratulations. Most states require 30 days for the data that's retained in LPRs to be kind of gone away with. Virginia, under Governor Youngkin, reduced that to 21 days. So anything that's over 22 days or more, that stuff is no longer in the system. So we can't go back, 22 days and say, hey, we want to see what vehicle came through here. All that information's gone. There is an auditing system where we can see who is accessing that, and you can't go in and access the Flock system without providing a police report number into the system. That's one of the catch-alls. So you can't just go in there and say, hey, let me just look and see what cars have gone through, Route 1 and 234 at such date, and without a police report. And basically what we did is we have gotten private property permission slips to where we are going to put the license plate reader, so nothing's on VDOT right away, nothing's on public right away, nothing's on I don't think we have anything on the town of Dumfries property. Everything is on private properties from citizens and businesses in the town that wanted to assist the police department with where we put the Flock cameras at. So all access, like I said, to LPR systems should be limited to trained and authorized personnel. Users shall document the purpose of each search and enter a case number, incident number, or authorized reason when conducting a query. May be searched only for law enforcement purposes. The dating share, we can share data within Virginia. We don't share with other states, and we don't share with federal agencies unless they do us either a subpoena or a search warrant. Then we can share it with them. But if ICE called and says, "Hey, we wanted to see the vehicles that came through there," we don't share that. We would not share that information with any federal agencies. We share it with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office only for criminal justice purposes, also for court order subpoenas and lawful discovery obligations. Approves vendors solely for maintenance, so we would share information with Flock, just basically saying, "Hey, we don't know if this is working. Can you see that? This is what we see. That's and we're not seeing that, or they're not seeing that." Cannot be sold, commercially disseminated, or shared with any unauthorized entities. It doesn't, nowhere on the private side will we ever share LPR information. The LPR program administrator shall conduct monthly audits of user activity queries, access logs, data dissemination. Audit findings shall be documented and maintained for inspection. Any misuse of the system shall be investigated, may result in disciplinary action, criminal prosecution, or both. There is a hot list management, and basically that's stuff that we enter in. So if we do have a car that's stolen, we can enter that information in, as well as it's entered in NCIC VEAS and then with the county dispatch as well. And then hot sheets, and that's basically wanted people that could be in there. So we're responsible for updating the hot sheets for information that we want to put in there. So if it is a wanted person, it's our job to put it into the LPR system, as well as to dispatch, and it's our job to take it out of the system as well. So it's not based, since we are using Flock for that, it's not their responsibility. So as soon as somebody that is wanted that came through there, or a car was stolen, it's our job to go back into that system immediately and take it out. And just for example, the other day, the captain and I stopped a vehicle that was reported stolen. It hit a LPR in the county at the Van Buren southbound. We stopped the car that was still stolen. The vehicle was towed. Prior to that, the tow company never notified dispatch, so it was never taken out of the system because nobody ever reported to the police. So once we took the report for the recovery of stolen property, we then had Prince William take it out of their LPR system. So like I said, the chief of police shall designate the LPR program administrator, which I just told you guys is the captain. He will coordinate, train, and maintain a list of authorized users, coordinate equipment maintenance and repairs, conduct required audits, ensure compliance with Virginia law and department policy. And I did tell you that we did it on private property, so anytime the citizens or businesses that gave us the right to put that there can tell us, "Hey, we don't want that here on our property anymore," and we will take it off their property. So it's not up to us anymore. It's their property, so it's up to them how long they want it there or out. Any questions on that? And like I said, I do intend on giving an update for the Flock cameras, how the system works through Flock, through us, and I see there's a lot of questions, so.
But all the lights lit up.
Yeah, all the lights lit up.
So I'll start with the order. I see Councilman Young's light going first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two quick questions. You had mentioned about the governor's orders previously under Youngkin went from 30 days to 21 days. Has that changed since there's a new governor?
It's still 21 days.
Still 21 days? Okay. Second question is, you mentioned also too, as far as the private property, these cameras being placed on private property, is there a certain agreement or timeline as far as, did they say they have it on there for 10 days, they're having it for 30 days, they're having it for 60 days?
They just gave us what we took out there to them as a written permission agreement with them through Flock, through the PD. And I explained to them at any time that you guys don't want that camera here anymore, we can move that camera. So, but there's not a set of days. That's up to them.
Okay.
And we can also strategically move it if it's a camera that, maybe we can put it somewhere else and get better, be more effective. We can also move that camera at that time.
Okay. And also too, the last question is, according to that agreement or that permission, if they damage it or if they, do something to it to authorize, to modify it in any type way or fashion, is there any type of penalty towards them?
Yeah, if whoever damages the equipment or does something, they will be responsible. Other than that, if it gets damaged some other way, Flock is responsible for all the maintenance for their cameras.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Chair Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to talk a little bit about the process of the license plate being cameraed and the verification, because my thought process, and maybe just as in my civilian mind, that might be fine to wait to verify if it's a stolen car, if it's something not violent. But when we're talking about silver alerts, amber alerts, by the time you how fast does that happen? By the time you verify, they might very well be in Stafford County because we're only 1.6 square miles. So is it possible to have that? I would think by the time it's in the camera, it should already be verified that this is what we're flagging. So, what does that look like?
So the tag is flagged pretty much immediately. Like I said, it'll get come to our phones, whoever has access to it. But at that time, it gives you all that information. So say it's just say a white van was involved in a kidnapping of a child, and then as soon as you get there, you say, hey, that's the white van, that's the tag, you verified that.
Okay.
It's kind of like if the guys want it and you come up to it and you say, that's a out-of-state tag that doesn't match a Virginia tag, and maybe they have the same numbers or something. So it's just a little bit of cover-up, but you can see that by the vehicle description. So.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. I was a little unclear because when you said you get the picture of the license plate and then it has to verify, I'm like, I'm all about due process, but if you have an Amber Alert and you say, and this has been reported, you got to pull that vehicle over.
Everything is,
Okay. Thank you, sir.
exigent circumstances will apply, because tags can get changed. If you take a van here and then you put it on some, a different kind of vehicle to cover your tracks, that's already a reasonable articulable suspicion because that vehicle now has the wrong tag on that, if that makes sense. So it's really not a long process at all.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chief, from body cams to now we're at flock cameras and everything, you guys just keep improving, man. All I want to just do is say keep up the good work and keep improving. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Under your leadership, this police department has been making great improvements. Keep doing what you guys are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Did we receive a grant for the Flock program?
We received 2 grants from the Flock for the license plate readers, not just for Flock. So it's basically through the license plate reader program. The first grant that we got was $10,000, which through the Virginia State Police, which is to help eliminate auto theft. And then we also received a $33,000 grant through the J.R. Byrne grant.
Okay, I just wanted to know if it was grant funding.
So we'll have $36,000 in grant money for the Flock cameras.
So were those grants that we applied for, or were those grants that were just kind of out there and they were offered to us? Okay, so what is it that prompted us as such a small locality to seek grant funding to implement this type of surveillance, for lack of a better word? I want to know what is it that drove us to do that? Because to one of the points that Pro Tem made, there's such a short distance between our line and then the neighboring, jurisdictions. So, what prompted us to do that? And then how much is it costing the town aside from the grants? Are there any additional?
I think I did the math. It was like $1,700 that it's costing the town.
Okay.
For the cameras after the grant money. And basically the reason that we did it, and the reason that we kind of looked at Flock is because Prince William is a adjoining jurisdiction that uses Flock. And at the point when we first looked at it, Flock was like nationwide. Everybody could share their camera information with each other. It's now gone to just in-state. But Flock cameras have kind of like controlled the system for a very long time, so we can actually use all other jurisdictions' cameras that have Flock cameras, if that makes sense. And for us, there was an increase in auto theft, not just in the town, but around the town. So having that, even for a mass casualty incident, if we can say, hey, there was just shooting occurred, and you get vehicle descriptions or not, you can just go look at wherever we put those vehicles, where we put the license plate readers, you can say, hey, between this time and this time, this is the vehicle that crossed these 2 cameras or these 3 cameras. So it's not just for stolen cars. Say there's a shooting that occurs in one of the neighborhoods, and then we have a camera right here, we can see it going in, then we can see it going out in the same amount of time. It gives us investigative power. So it's just not just to get the alert for, I mean, it is a benefit to get the alert that somebody's coming through the town that has already been entered, but more on the other side of if something happens, we have a way to go back and investigate after the fact, if that makes sense, and also a very timely fashion.
Okay, so what I really needed to hear articulated out loud was the cause and effect. Why are we doing it in the town of Dumfries? And I ask that because that's the kind of questions that citizens will begin to ask. Well, what are you doing now surveilling us? And that's why I purposely used the word surveillance. So thank you for providing the information as to why we're doing it and what the benefits are. But most importantly, what caused us to have interest in seeking out the grants to do that. And then thank you for seeking out the grants to do it so that we're not paying for it, the total package ourselves.
Thank you. And just to talk about the strategic placement very quickly, and we can get it to a later date, but it was kind of to cover the good thing is we are a small town, so we can cover every entrance and exit out of the town with just a small amount of coverage with the cameras. So that was kind of the key for us, is we don't need that many cameras, and we don't target the neighborhoods. We're not looking at certain areas. It's, hey, we're putting them here where you come in and where you go out, and that was my opinion of where we should put them for the biggest impact. You're welcome.
Councilman Fields.
Yes, sir. Hey, great job getting these cameras here and getting the funding for it and everything. Has there been opposition to these cameras? And if so, what type of opposition? And I got a part 2 to that, and once you finish.
Yeah, so far, I have not heard of any opposition. The business owners and the homeowners and the HOAs that we spoke to in the area were very receptive to the flock cameras, and no issues with any of for us. And like I said, we haven't had any opposition yet. And Prince William, I was hoping to have some numbers from Prince William tonight, but they seem to be very effective, as well as how well they're doing in the area for the auto theft and stuff like that. And I don't think in Prince William there's been much blowback as well for the cameras.
Good. If there is, and some of us that were at the Congressional City Summit in Washington back in March, this came up in one of the meeting rooms with the public safety forum that I'm on, or committee that I'm on, about the opposition to it. And my response was led off by, until it happens to you. Your elder or a crime that happens there. And I gave the example, and I'll give it here today. When my 101-year-old grandmother went missing, and we're looking for leads and things like that, there was a flock camera that picked up her vehicle heading in a certain direction. However, before we got that information, when I went to Dinwiddie and started searching, we were all over the place. I think I covered 5 counties in one evening looking. But not until we got that flock information, we zeroed in on a certain direction that she was heading. And I wish there were more flock cameras. Unfortunately, there was only one in her town, but it pointed us westbound. And lo and behold, within 2 or 3 miles from that flock camera, that's where we found her. She was deceased by then. But had we had more cameras, again, until it happens to you, that's what you tell someone if they're against this. That's what you tell someone that, why are we surveilling, or why are we doing this such a small town? This little town and a flock camera here could link to something big if they went to Stafford, they went to Prince William, or jumped on 95. We know a direction of travel for any of those reasons. But again, until it happens to you.
Yeah, actually, we had a robbery on the 7-Eleven at 234. This was a few months ago, but a few days later, he did a robbery in Spotsylvania, which hit a flock camera, and that's how he was caught and brought back to all the other the robberies was for the
That's right.
flock camera.
All right, thank you. Good job.
Councilwoman Peterson, did I have you? You good? Okay. So how many cameras are being purchased and installed?
I believe it's eight cameras.
So eight cameras? And the total for all 8 that we paid out of pocket was $1,700?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's the annual cost that we have to pay?
So it's around 37,000 for,
37,000 that we will pay
if we don't get grant funding.
if we don't get grant. Okay, I just want to make sure we get the annual costs in there. I want to get the complete picture. All right, and it was good on the short picture, but I'm gonna ask the detail. All right, what is the length of the contract?
So it's a yearly contract.
Annual, so it's the annual renewals.
contract, yes,
So
sir.
is it automatic renewals?
Yes, I believe so.
Are there escalation clauses in
No
there?
escalation clauses.
No escalation clauses. Who owns the cameras?
The town owns
So we purchase all these cameras.
Correct.
And who collects the data?
We collect the data.
So Flock does not get access to our data?
Correct.
Okay. All right. What happens to the data when the contract ends?
It's all gone. After 21 days.
Okay, so it all disappears. Good. All right, we know the cameras will be located on public property.
Private property.
Private. Let me change that, private, sorry. Who approves the future locations?
So that would be me and also asking permission from the stakeholders.
Will council or the public receive notifications before any new cameras are deployed?
Yes, and we will also put out the notifications of where the cameras are deployed before they're deployed. These 8 cameras have not been installed yet, by the way.
Okay. Will signs notify motorists that LPRs are in use?
I don't think there's no signs, no, sir.
Okay, so no technology, okay. You know how they say speeding cameras in use, or we putting signs up about LPRs being used? Huh? Okay. Ways to tell us, no? Will the town receive an annual public report, or the council receive an annual report on like the number of searches, the hits, the arrests, the stolen vehicles, but specifically the council? I think that in the policy, you know, my only amendment I didn't see in the policy is an annual report to council that doesn't reveal the active investigation details, but includes program outcomes, like what the audits are, misuse incidents, you know.
Yes, sir.
That's where the biggest lawsuits came in on Flock, was misuse incidents, sharing activity and effectiveness. So I think that would be my amendment to the policy, that council get an annual report on that. Town manager?
If you don't mind, if y'all could make the motion for the town manager to provide y'all with that report separate from the policy, I would appreciate that.
Okay. All right. What discipline applies to any unauthorized access? Is there any way for anybody who's not authorized to get in there? And is there any discipline?
So we will follow the standard disciplinary process. There isn't any way for anyone unauthorized to receive it. I actually sat through the Flock safety introduction to the town. They said even if I had access to it, there were mechanisms in there for, if I abused it, for it to be reported to the council as well.
Yeah, one of the biggest concerns on, of course, you know, all of the things is the public trust of all of this technology, you know, and that goes for all the LPRs, not just Flock, Axion, everybody. The public, just the Ring cameras, a lot of controversy over the Super Bowl commercial, right? And so everybody thinks that because we can see the dog collars that the government is looking at their information, right? And so public trust is the biggest thing on all of this technology. And so that's why, you know, kind of like this line of question is because, you know, the tools are strongest, I think, when the public understands both what they can do and what they're prohibited from doing. And so I really wanted to highlight the barriers we have in place for misuse, and nobody's just going in accessing their information without them knowing, just to be monitoring them and watching them. And so, you know, that's the biggest thing there. So that's all, you know, I wanted to kind of like bring up, because that's the problem with all of them, you know, the companies, is the public trust. So, That is all the questions I had on that. And so you want the motion to be made separate that I just put in there? Okay.
Yes, separate from the policy, I would like y'all to make a motion that I report to council annually the information that you requested.
Okay. Councilman Pete?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that the town manager reports the flock information annually to the council.
Second.
Okay. Vice Mayor, discussion?
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to the motion, please. Can we do it more often than annually? Can we do twice a year, or quarterly? Quarterly?
Quarterly.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to withdraw my motion and revisit it to
Well, she just wanted an amendment.
this amendment. I like to accept the amendments to the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
There we go.
All right, so it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, please call for the question.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Pete?
Point of clarity. Now, you made the amendment to have it done more than annually. Are we putting a number on that, or are we going quarterly, or?
Yeah, she can say quarterly.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Yes.
I did. Councilman Young?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson? Aye. Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion is passed.
All right, make a motion to approve the policy as submitted by the chief.
I'll second that motion.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, call for the question.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Pete?
Absolutely.
Councilman Young?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson? Yes. Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion is passed.
All right. Next on the agenda, the town council desires to discuss the going closed session pursuant Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 1 of the Code of Virginia to discuss personnel matters, including this assignment and performance of specific appointees of public bodies of the town.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Councilman Young?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
We are now in closed session.
All right. All right, I want to make a motion that in accordance with the provision of the Freedom of Information Act 2.2-3712, the Code of Virginia, to the best of each member's knowledge, that only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting were heard, discussed, and considered, and the only public business matters that we discussed were identified by the motion with which we went into closed session.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Peete?
Yes.
Councilman Young?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
We are now back in open session.
Okay. Is there anything to report? Madam Chair Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to grant a performance award for both the town manager and town attorney at the rate of 5% annual income.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Peete?
Yes.
Councilman Young?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right, Vice Mayor.
Point of privilege, please. I would like to take this opportunity to wish my husband of 27 years a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. All right. At this time, the meeting is adjourned.